This is TJ Legacy, host of the Soapboxx podcast. The live stream will start shortly, but make sure you like our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, and tell all of your friends and family that the most infamous podcast on all your streaming services is about to go live.
TJ, what's goody? It's HB. Can I just big you up real quick with what you're doing with the Soapboxx? Listen, anytime somebody takes their platform to educate and inform the culture of hip-hop with politics, pop culture, doing what you're doing and being responsible with your platform, I can't do nothing but salute you, TJ. Keep doing what it do. Keep repping for the culture. Nothing but love and respect from me, baby. Peace.
Gentlemen, what's really good? It's Peter Rosenberg, Hot 97, ESPN, WWE, GP Podcast, all that. Big shout out to my peoples over at the Soapboxx, all right? My man TJ, Legacy Cole, the whole Soapboxx crew. Incredible new podcast, all right? Politics, pop culture, hip-hop, even wrestling on occasion. It's all there. So go subscribe and make sure you tune in to the Soapboxx. TJ, what up, man? Appreciate you.
Peace to the planet. Charlemagne the God here. What's happening, TJ Legacy Cole? Salute to you, King. Salute to the Soapboxx Podcast. The Soapboxx Podcast is an independent black media podcast, and they talk hip-hop, politics, pop culture, mental health, social justice, a lot of my favorite subjects. Check them out, man. Tune in, subscribe to them. You never know. I'm out here looking at all the different podcasts that are moving and shaking out here, because, I got the Black Effect Podcast Network, so I'm going to be checking y'all out, TJ. All right? Keep working.
Peace, 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 peace. Let's get the whole gang in here. My name is Alan York. TJ done messed up. I'm running point guard for this episode, and I want to welcome everybody, Soapboxx Nation, to today's episode of the Soapboxx. My name is Alan York, and I am 25% of the most illustrious podcast in the entire universe. So first and foremost, before I get started on anything, I need to introduce all of my co-hosts. I want to see how you feeling. I want to see how the mental is. My man, TJ El Capitan, aka the Kofi King today, with the short sleeve hoodie on with the Bill Belichick. Tell him how you feeling, man. How you feeling today, TJ?
Yo, man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Happy to be at the, being on the side, being a co-host and supporting, making sure that we are versed our team. So keep doing your thing. Let's get it.
All right. So now, next in line, we have the skincare queen, aka switch my wig up, make him feel like you're cheating. Miss Javonni, how you feeling today?
Hey, what's up? I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm happy to be here on a Thursday, bringing some good topics to the people.
Okay. Thank you. We appreciate having you today. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, we have the glowy Miss Jess A. How you feeling today, Jess A?
What's poppin'? I'm good. I love your intro, Alan.
No, we're gonna get everybody right. One thing that we was talking about before we came live, when we was having our little pre-show banter, is we got the holiday season coming up. We're right in between that tweener between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Everyone's trying to get that holiday spirit. As you can see, we even semi-coordinated the holiday colors. Me with the green, we got Jesse with the white, we got Javonni with the red, and she has a white and blue tree, which segues into the blue hoodie that TJ has, right? So I want to appreciate and thank everyone for coming here on theme. Now, I will say that I saw that TJ said that it doesn't really feel like the holiday season. Does anybody else feel that way? Jesse, Javonni, do y'all feel like there's something missing? Is there less Rudolph in the air this year?
I personally feel like holidays have been like that for a while. I don't know. It comes so fast, and then it just doesn't feel like Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Javonni, how you feel?
Yeah, I feel to be honest, I feel like for the first time, maybe people can actually figure out what they want the holidays to actually mean to them, because for a while, or for a lot of us, we grew up with whatever it meant to our parents, or whatever our parents, whatever it felt like it meant to their parents. So now it's like you can define what you want it to mean for you going forward. You want to spend a lot of money, or you want to save your money. It's however you want to do it. So yeah, I think it's just people going to celebrate it differently based on whatever whatever fits them.
Okay. And that actually brings me to an interesting question that I have for the ladies here. Both of them are wonderful mothers. I know TJ and I, as of right now, are not parents. And, we always hear that the holidays take on a new meaning once you become a parent. Have you all felt that to be true, or is there still some sort of mundane trying to figure it out path, even though you even though you guys are both parents right now? How do you feel about, has there been a full transition?
For sure. For me personally, holidays is more about the kids. I remember like growing up, it was about me and getting gifts, but now I don't really care for that. I just care about making them happy, and as long as they're happy, then that's all I care.
Okay.
Same. I mean, it's I'm having a hard time trying to figure out if I'm supposed to like convince Noble that there's a Santa Claus or not, because every time I say, "Oh, you better be good because or you're not gonna get no gifts from Santa," he keeps saying, "Are you Santa? Like, who is Santa?"
Shout out to Noble being inquisitive.
Is he not looking at enough Christmas movies? Because I didn't know that I had to explain it.
Okay. Well, let's ask, how old is Noble first, just so the people can get the gauge.
3 years old.
3 years old. Okay, Jesse, your little ones, how old are they, and where do they stand with Santa and his realism?
They're 3 and 7. My 7-year-old knows that Santa's not real, but he still believes in him, if that makes sense. And Cameron, he's 3, but he just doesn't really understand.
Okay. So TJ, how do you feel about Santa Claus and his realization, or lack of thereof?
Listen, man, I think that kids should stay kids as long as possible because they do grow up fast. But I'm also for making sure that parents, hardworking parents, whether they're a 2-parent household or single parents, are getting the credit and the recognition that they deserve. So I always take it like, yes, there is a fantasy of, yes, there is a Santa, but mom and dad know who he is. We we got him on the line. So basically, you gonna mess up, we're gonna call Santa, but that kind of thing. Because when they go to school or when they're interacting with with the other kids, and you want to it's about keeping the fantasy going, but giving them that little bit of reality so that you're not really breaking their heart. Now, the parents that are just like, I always trip over the kids that really believe Santa all the way through is real. That's just crazy. Because you could just Google that. Kids are smart. It's not like the whole time when we didn't have internet. Now you can literally Google it and they be like, I don't even know what the answer is. It's like, is Santa real on the internet? They be like,
listen, I was gonna say, because I feel like kids are more prone to YouTube than they are Google. So you can probably find a good 20 videos on YouTube that will convince you that Santa is real the way that YouTube is working, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's true.
Can I say this? But they may not believe in Santa, but if you go to a classroom and that little elf on the shelf, they believe in that nigga. Like the teachers be like, "Yo, you touch the elf on the shelf, you won't get no gifts." I've heard like they will literally scream out and be like, "Yo, do not touch the elf." And when they come into the classrooms, they're looking to see where that elf, where else is he? Where did he go to in the classroom? Where did he move? Rather.
So you know about the elf on the shelf too?
Huh?
You know about the elf on the shelf?
Yeah, well, I used to work with I work with kids throughout all of my 20s, and I used to be a substitute teacher.
Okay, Noble keeps saying something about that. I don't know what elf is it.
It's an elf. It's like a magical elf that is the one that he's basically, from what I understand, he's like basically that representative of Santa. Like he's supposed to be watching over everybody, and so he's the elf that's supposed to be reporting back to Santa whether you good or not. But he's a magical elf. So if you touch him or handle him or whatever, so teachers use it as a control mechanism. They be like, if you touch the elf, oh look, the elf is watching. You guys gonna be quiet. Y'all not gonna get no reason. And I'm telling you, they straighten right up.
Oh,
that's fire.
Amazon, Javonni.
You said it's on Amazon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, yeah, because Noble be talking about the elf on the shelf. So it's not a TV show?
No, I don't think so. It's like a doll, like it's a little elf on the shelf. But that's like the story behind it.
We have the elf on the shelf, and I was like, yeah, I guess we could watch it at home.
Hey, listen, you know,
I learned something.
Yeah, it's listen. Any extra tips and trips and mechanism we can have to control the youth will be popular amongst adults because, as you know, the youth aren't the most easy to control, at least when they're that young. So, so shout out to all of the parents out there. Shout out to everyone who is going through this holiday season. I want everyone to keep their head up. Now, speaking of the holiday season, the first thing I want to do is grant a big middle finger to the Grinch that has been grinching for the last 8 months, and that is Mitch McConnell, who is arguably the most powerful person in the U.S. right now. There was a bipartisan bill that was sent over to him as of a couple of days ago, which didn't even include stimulus checks, just some extensions, $300 a week for unemployment that he still shot down. And this has been an issue that has been going on for the last 9 months. Today, we're calling this episode the Bandemic, right? Because economics is a big issue in our community, especially right now. We're going through a holiday season. A lot of people are trying to figure out how they're going to make it work for themselves and their family. So we do kind of want to break down the economics at each level. So a big middle finger to Mitch McConnell, who has been the worst thing for this country and its citizens during this whole pandemic. And, you know, we have to say, you know, we are watching. If we have anyone in Georgia right now, it's extremely important that you guys go and vote. You guys vote blue. And I'm a registered independent, but you know, the facts are the fact. We can't get anything done. People are not getting any relief until we get this monster out of the head seat in the Senate. So we do want to do that. Now, that being said, we do have a clip from my man Bernie Sanders, who is trying to take a stand and get the people what they need for it. And it's crazy that we have to beg for an additional relief 10 months later, but here we are. But Bernie, take it away.
The American people need help, and they need help now. In fact, there has never been a time in the modern history of this country when the American people were in more economic desperation and a time when people needed help. And if a government means anything, it means that we cannot turn our backs on tens of millions of families who today are suffering. So, Madam President, we have got to make sure that every working family in America, every working individual in America, receives at least $1,200 in direct payment. That is what we have got to do. We cannot continue the status quo of simply coming in here to work and then going home and going back on for our holiday. So, Madam President, I am going to do everything that I can to insist that we make sure that every working person in this country gets a $1,200 direct payment. And we're not going to go home until that happens. Madam President, thank you very much.
So, yeah, so shout out to our man, Senator Bernie Sanders, for taking a stand. You know, things like that are wise. Sometimes it's a bit difficult for me to hear people individualize people's records as far as what they have done while they've been in government and what they haven't done, because you do have people like these, even though they are few and far between, that would love to do some great things, but that's just not how government works. You can be in government for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and if you don't have the support of what you're trying to do for the American people, for lack of a better term, it may not matter how good your intent is. Now, TJ, I'm going to go ahead and kick it to you as our political aficionado. How do you feel about what Bernie said there? And how do you feel about what the Senate is doing and has been doing in regards to its people and withholding funds for the last 10 months or so?
Well, I appreciate the topic because this just shows what's going on in Washington. Just shows how inherently evil some of the people who are elected officials actually are. Where as long as they're good, as long as they're in a economic the top 1%, or as long as they're in a great economic situation, to hell with everybody else. They can have the health care, to hell with everybody else. And that's really been the message. Too many times there's a lot of bureaucracy going on when it comes to actually helping people. And so it's really an ideological debate that's going on. What should there be more government, or should there be limited government? What I think is, first of all, I think I commend Bernie Sanders for speaking up, because he's always been someone to speak up, especially when it comes to poor and the economics of what's going on in this country. But I honestly think $1,200 is too little. We got that the first time, and people ran through that. There are people that are facing evictions, and those moratoriums are about to be lifted. So there are some people that still haven't gotten their unemployment benefits. You have some states that are rejecting federal unemployment benefits to their constituents, and so I think that the government needs to step in. This is where hopefully, when Biden gets in there, he can start hitting up some of these executive orders, and maybe his influence of the new administration would help channel some more relief for COVID without the restrictions of having to take the vaccine or having to do stringent, more of the testing to other areas in order as an incentive to get benefits. It's like I feel like John Q, where he goes, sick, help. There's going to be a lot of, and I hate to say this, but we have to be mindful that during the holiday season, a lot of people are dealing with stress and mental health. You put a pandemic on top of that, you put COVID on top of that. It's a potential powder keg. So I personally think, I think it should be 5 bans, right? I honestly think it should be 5 bans, and I also think that they should extend the federal relief to for unemployment aid, and helping small businesses that actually need the help in order for the country to thrive. Because it's not going anywhere, and I think this pandemic has changed things for a while. But you got to have people. This is why voting. You got to screen people. This is why voting has consequences, and in my estimation. Because there are people like Mitch McConnell, and I think Mitch McConnell's in Kentucky. He just got reelected, right? So
with an 18% approval rate or something crazy.
Exactly, and his district, if I'm not mistaken, they're the food stamp capital of the world. Like, they get the most food stamps out of anywhere. So he's good with his people get in his constituents, as long as he keeps his position. And I'm seeing that a lot, not only in the federal level, but on the county and the local level, that a lot of some of these elected officials, as long as it's not affecting them in their position, they're to hell with everybody else. So shout out to Bernie for speaking up. But I think this begging for $1,200, if you look at rent, I mean, that's not going to cover somebody's rent in certain states, So there's so much more they could be doing, and they're just not. And this is why people don't trust government and feel like it's ineffective.
Yeah, and it's funny because and it's a really low number, and unfortunately it's that seems like the compromise number. I understand between himself and Kamala, before she took the VP position, they actually got something passed in the House that would have included $1,500 relief on a monthly basis for all adults, and then $500 for each child. And needless to say that unfortunately that didn't go past the House because of the other side. Now for Jesse and Javonni, I just wanted to have you guys expand on, just if you were to get an additional $500 per child per month, how much would that help during a time like this?
Per month?
Yes.
I mean, it would be something more than what, you had before, but being realistic, like TJ mentioned before, $1,200, that doesn't even pay for rent. But at the same time, it's like, okay, it is $1,200 you didn't have before, but it's like it's so easy to get it and then not have it anymore. So I just feel like if you're gonna help for real. Don't half-ass it.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
And let me answer before you go, Javon. Let me just say this: they're also that lift on student loan payments is about to be lifted as well.
Yeah.
So yep. So it's not like people gotta, it's just rent and it's healthcare. There's all sorts of stuff. So yeah, but I'm sorry. Go ahead, Javon.
Daycare alone for some parents who still have kids in daycare is like $300 a week.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really not going to do a lot for some people.
And so, Javonni, what would you think, or if you think it would make a dent if you're getting, the $1,500 per adult plus the $500 for my man Young Noble? How would that assist you guys on the day-to-day?
It'll help. I mean, $500 a month extra, big time. Like that'll definitely, like, I don't know, either it's going in the savings, it's going towards $500 worth of groceries, like we buying crabs and lobsters and steaks or something. But it's going to be used. But I mean, Noble's daycare, I'm paying almost $800 a month for Noble's daycare, so I mean, it can go towards that,
Okay.
Yeah,
so
it definitely help. I mean, yeah.
Wait, I have a question. Does Noble, when you get that money, does he want his cut up front, or he just let you handle the finances? Because he seemed like he's like, "Yo, let's do these. I want my check. What's up with the Spider-Man toy?
Split that."
Noble will be like, "Mommy, where my money at?"
Bust it down.
No games.
Bust it down. So look, actually, speaking of Noble, speaking of the young Black kings that need money out here, I understand that Javonni has a story that may correlate with that, right? So tell us about Mr. Intro, our man from Philly, Meek Mill, and dealing with the children. I heard you got something.
Yeah, so our homie, my dog Meek, to me, hold up. So do we want to play this clip first? Do we have a clip?
Let's play the clip.
Let's play the clip.
All right, let's go to the clip, ladies and gentlemen. Here you go. Don't blink. Pay attention. Focus.
Y'all not gonna split it.
What you just gave them, big bro?
Don't put your hand in my car.
Big bro, they gave me one time, Meek.
Yo, I just gave y'all money, man.
Not gonna split it.
Man, y'all gotta split that money, man. It's $20.
Fuck, that's a dub. Yeah, man.
All right, so the clip, real quick. So the clip was basically these kids. Go ahead, Alan. You got it. Go ahead.
No. We was letting Javonni decompress because she looked like she was about to go. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Wait, so were we able to see the whole clip because it went off super fast? But for those of you who caught the beginning or the end, in the clip, Meek Mill, he's driving in Atlanta, pulls up some kids, they selling water on the side of the street. Usually it's like a football team or a cheerleading team, trying to sell some water or some dollars. But these boys they was just hustling. Meek asked them what was the purpose? Correct me, somebody. What was the exact language? I can't remember the exact language, but he pretty much was asking them like, what's y'all goal behind selling these water bottles for $1? The kids didn't say nothing, but still Meek generously gave them a $20 bill. The controversy behind this is Meek Mill, who has millions, billions of dollars, records, sold platinum, gold, all that type of stuff. They want to know where the bag at, in other terms. Kind of why couldn't you have provided us with more than $20? And these are the comments from the Twitter feed. I don't know if the kids, if they just let it go. Of course, they did ask for more money. Like, what are we gonna do with $20? They didn't say it like that, but one of the children said that they weren't going to split the $20, and that's also been a controversy. Like, okay, so Meek, the boy said he gonna keep the money, so are the other kids gonna get money or not? But at the end of the day, my point of view about it all is it's two things, I believe. One, I think that Meek, he did his role by asking them like, okay, so what are y'all doing with this money? You know, like, even though I have money, what y'all doing with it? Or, and not even if it was like, even though I have money, what are y'all doing with it? I think he really wanted them to come up with something like, man, we trying to hustle to buy a bike, or my dog, he locked up, so we trying to raise money, or we just needed to eat. But if y'all just trying to collect it, we don't, he just like, I'm trying to help y'all. Like, don't just be out here making money and spending it. Like, actually do something with this money. So from my point of view, I think they could take the $20 and flip it and buy 20 water bottles and sell them for $2, and then they could make $40. I don't know. But I felt like Meek didn't really do anything wrong except for record the video. I just didn't understand why he recorded it and posted it, like, yeah, just to let y'all know I ain't just out here giving free money. I don't care if you're a child or not. And I just kind of felt like he could have just kept the donation to himself, let them post it. But you recording it and posting it, I don't know what type of message you was trying to send out. So kind of threw me off right there.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely feel like, you know, that could have been a story for the kids. That could have been a story for them to keep in their pocket. And they probably would have been like, oh man, Meek swung through. Shit, they might have dissed him. Shit, he lame. He only gave us $20, but I pulled, you know, I was out there in the rows, whoop, 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 and it would have stayed right there. But anytime that you are putting something on your Instagram, you are allowing for public consumption and public ridicule. And a lot of times in these situations, I feel like he could have gave them $500. It would have been a bunch of people in the comments saying he should have gave them $1,000. So I don't think it's the money amount that rub people the wrong way. It's just kind of like, you know, these kids are kind of telling you that it's not going to get split. And it's like, you know, as we said, we in the middle of the pandemic. Why are you asking 8-year-olds their financial plan for selling water right now? Like, how does that, like what exactly are you trying to, like, are you trying to really spit game, or are you trying to just kind of play them a little bit? So, but roundtable discussion, Jesse, how did you feel about that?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I like that he asked them, right? He asked them what was their purpose. Because maybe if they would have said something different, like they were reaching, working towards a certain goal, then maybe he would have gave them a little bit more. But $20 for what? One water bottle? How many water bottles did he get? Yeah,
that's a good question. Yeah, that wasn't, you know, that wasn't fleshed out in his tiny clip, so I couldn't say.
Well, yeah, I mean, $20 for one water bottle, that's a profit. And then I think, correct me if I'm not, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it. Meek Mill had posted a video of them counting money, like of the kids counting money. And he was like, see, they have more money than they put on, or whatever the case is. I don't know. But as far as like recording it goes, we live in an era of social media where if you don't post it, it didn't happen. So I think he was just trying to put it out there just so people could see what he did, but it just backfired.
Agreed. TJ, what's up? You know they are remixing what we're calling the $20 bill now. They're saying, you know, they're calling it a Meek. Yeah, yo, let me get a Meek on Pump 7.
Listen, two things. One, I wouldn't have given them nothing, and I'm gonna tell you why. I don't like when kids are out there in the street, or adults have kids. Let me put it this way: I don't like how adults have kids out on the street with the little either football helmets, or got kids selling stuff on the side of the street. I do not like that. I've always been against it. I don't like especially when young women do that. It just sends a bad message that, hey, if you short on money, just go out there, just go hit the streets. It doesn't really teach you about a real grind. I don't think so. Because, you know, when they're adults, are they going to be like, okay, I don't have no water, so let me go sell some, let me go sell something. I don't like that. So I wouldn't give them money on that. However, Meek is a herb. And I'm going to tell you why Meek is a herb, right?
Oh, damn.
Because when Meek, when you give, like whether it's somebody homeless or whatever, if you got it, you give. You see what I'm saying? Like this whole interrogation thing, I didn't like that. Like that whole that's you trying to stunt on people, knowing that your dusty behind came from that same damn neighborhood, and now you got it, and so now you like, oh, let you sitting in your what was he in a Rolls?
I believe it was a Rolls Royce.
His Rolls Royce asking
watermelon
kids
interior
in an impoverished situation, to giving them the third degree for $20, and then you'll turn around and you'll make music about how much you care about, or this is my hood or whatever, and rep your hood. You a big ass herb for that. So me personally, I wouldn't have given it to him because I would have did something else, and I probably would have talked to the adults that they had around them or whatever. Yeah. Granted, if they had an adult with them, because I don't like that. I don't like that method. Or I would have found out where they were if I wanted to give. But if you're not going to give cheerfully from your heart, 'tis the season. If you're not going to give cheerfully your heart, and you gotta, like, it's one of those things. Like, I forget where they say it's like, if you got to ask the price, you can't afford it. If you can't pay for it twice, you can't afford it. So if you can't afford it, if like, you should have just kept driving. But I felt like because you put it on social media, because you had them out there looking hungry and begging or whatever, like for me it's an ego trip, and people need to don't forget how dusty you were, nigga. Like, don't forget how dusty you used to be in that same predicament before you were out here in your Rolls Royce. So Meek Mill's he's a big ass herb for that. I don't like stuff, especially with kids. I get real tight with that. Like, if I was an adult, I would have been like, man, I would have told them off right in front of them kids.
So yeah, look, like, oh, capping ass nigga, you.
Yeah. I don't like. Yeah. Nah.
So
I don't like
though, you did bring up something interesting, because you said you don't like to see when kids are out there, hustling, for lack of a better term. Because a lot of times, and especially from what I've been told and from the few times I've seen in Atlanta, this is kind of like a regular thing, like the interstate water children hustlers. This is kind of like what they do in New York. They do, basketball team, train stations, or I'm dancing, or listen, I'm just selling candy for the low. I think every major city may have their subculture of hustling that the youth does, which is, I can't knock the entrepreneurial spirit at that age. But you said that's not something that you're fond of. Why?
So if they have like a stand and they got like a setup and there's like adults and some sort of like organization, but it's them. Yeah, but if you got bottled water and you just rolling up the cars when they stopping at a stoplight, or I've seen some of the youth football teams where they got like the football helmet and they're like, yo, can you say we trying to get some uniforms or whatever? It may be for a good cause, and so they have good intentions. But I think, and I just finished going from a meeting where we have to have programs teaching kids financial literacy. Like, there's a difference between hustling and panhandling, and you're teaching kids how to panhandle if they don't have it, rather than like what Javonni said, right? That's an economic lesson. Like, yo, take that, flip it, do this and that. Like, they're not doing that. They just like, yo, just get these waters and go out here and sell them. And if you ain't got it, like, it came to the point when he was grilling them that they just looked at him as somebody rich. So let me go out here and start begging him for more. You see what I'm saying?
So you just didn't like the begging. No,
I didn't like that. And then for you to post them on social media begging, like, these kids are gonna grow up. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't know. Like, if I was the parent, I don't know. But my lawyer would have to look into that. Like, yo, you posted my kid, yada yada yada. Like, that's hustling right there. Like, oh, okay. Now you posting my kid looking, he's got to get a job, whatever. Like, yo, wasn't you that kid begging Meek Mill for money? Hustling would have been like, yo, go ask Meek Mill if he'll let you do an internship or a job or something. You know what I'm saying? Or see if he's got something like that. That's hustling.
But he's at the light though. So this is like an elevator pitch. Yo, before this light changes, let me get a little bread.
That's why I think the adults who weren't around, like, first of all, I don't think kids should be left like alone outside doing anything by themselves in 2020. Like, nothing. With all the police shootings and all the stuff going on and all these Karens out there telling, they shouldn't be especially approaching somebody's car. Nah. So there should have been some sort of adult or some sort of supervision where they should have been out there. Like, that whole situation is just, I didn't like that whole video. I didn't like that whole situation. But I definitely think Meek Mill, somebody who goes and tries to profit off of the struggles of where he used to be, now going back to his community, and now you exploited people who are young kids who are out here looking for help, and then try to justify it by saying, see, they have money, so I'm a good guy. Nah, he's a whole herb for that. He's dusty too. That's dusty.
Okay. So ladies who are raising young kings, So let's say your 8-year-old comes up to you and say, "Hey, me, little Johnny from across the street, we trying to get some extra money. We about to go cut some grass, or we about to go try to sell some waters." What is your response to that as parents?
Grass is different, I think.
Yeah, grass is different for sure.
How?
It's like
You in the tub?
Like if you're in the neighborhood, like I can keep an eye on you. If you're going to the highway or wherever to go sell water, that's really not going to happen unless I'm there with you. I respect that they're trying to work for something, because I teach my kids, like, in life, nothing is handed to you. You got to work for everything you want.
Mm-hmm.
So I respect that aspect of it. But for me to let them go by themselves, nah, not in 2020, 21, none of that.
Even if they in the pack, even if they got 10 little 13-year-olds with them.
Nope.
If he asked them like, "Yo, what y'all? Who's on honor roll? Who got the highest grades or whatever?" And
the light about to change, bro. They don't have time for all that.
Yeah, like something like that. If he did that, then I would be mad. Cool. I would be cool about it.
He pulled up to the light. Yo, we got waters. You know, it's kind of like a flashby. I think that's why they do that. It's like I said, it's like an elevator pitch. That's why I'm assuming. Javonni, you letting Noble hit the streets? Huh?
No.
I said that's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. Like, that don't take skill. Panhandlers do that all the time.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Well, I think panhandling is different. If you don't have a product, I'm not sure if it's panhandling. If you're selling something,
you're selling it. Yeah.
Yeah. I look at panhandling as, yo, I just need some money. Not, hey, I have a product and pay me for the product. You know what I'm saying? I think that's different than panhandling.
Yeah, they might want to buy a game or something, and maybe their parents.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a Javonni. That's a no for Noble hitting the streets with a water pack.
Yeah, that's a no.
That's a no. Until what age, though?
I mean, unless I guess if I'm out there, but I'm not letting him go by himself. But I saw a lady in that video. They don't think they was by themselves. I saw a lady in that video.
She was grown.
Yeah, I think that was a girl.
I was about to say, let's rewind the footage.
Let's rewind.
You're not gonna split it.
What you say, gave them, big bro?
That's why y'all put your hand in my car.
Big bro, they want me one time, meet.
Yo, I just gave y'all money, man.
Not gonna split it.
Man, y'all gotta split that money, man. It's 20.
Fuck, that's a dub. Yeah, man.
Nah, she looks like a little girl too.
That's a little girl.
Y'all scared?
They probably
she looked like a little girl.
Like, you could have gave us more. Like, come on. Like,
she had the Fenty Beauty on, but
that don't look like nothing. Honestly, for those who are watching on our streaming services who can't see the video, that don't look like nothing but begging to me. Like what they was like. He even did the stress voice. Come on, man. Come on.
That's true. But they children. We got to extend grace to children.
Yeah, but you don't teach them to beg if you ain't got.
But at the same time, I feel like Meek was kind of like, he probably went, he live in Atlanta. Am I breaking up?
No, but you little low.
Okay. Meek probably put himself in those shoes. Like, when I was this age, what was I going to do with $20?
And nigga sold drugs.
Like,
I was about to say,
Like, that's a whole dub. You got money. So do something with it. And I feel like he probably was just like, y'all 12 years old. You don't need more than a dub.
If it's 6 of them that they got to split, yes, they absolutely do. All they're gonna get is a Chinese box.
So y'all think that he just had hundreds of dollars in his wallet?
No, I think he shouldn't have. Yes. He shouldn't have been broadcast. But yes, I mean, if we're going by his Instagram pictures, money phone, right? Big money phone. Yeah. Big money phone, right? It's big money phone.
You know what I don't like? Hey, I don't like the fact, like, don't rep no city. You see what I'm saying? And then go do some bogus shit like don't do that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You the one that's, this is my city, blah 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 blah. I put on like.
But that's not his city. That's Atlanta, to be fair.
So what y'all think T.I. would have did?
He would have gave us some big words and probably did the same damn thing.
Exactly.
Hey,
$20.
It ain't what you do. It ain't what you do. It's what we know about.
Y'all can come work for me and I'll pay y'all.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
And it ain't what you do. Is what you broadcast. So that's a representation of yourself.
Hey, yo, holla at me, kids. I'll double Meek Mill's. Go ahead. Whoever this is, y'all listen to this. I'll double Meek Mill's donation right here for you.
Hey, listen, and before we move on, I'm not gonna be mad at. I ain't gonna be mad at nobody for begging because I just spent the first 10 minutes of this podcast begging Mitch McConnell for $1,200, and I'm a grown man. So I'm not gonna be a hypocrite.
But that's your money. That's your right. You can have that money.
So now listen, to go ahead and kind of piggyback, man. Meek Mill was working with, ironically enough, the New England Patriots when he was getting out of prison to do some jail reform stuff with Robert Kraft. Now everybody know Robert Kraft's main man was TB12 Tom Brady. Now Tom Brady and his company was in the news recently in regards to the PPP loan, and my man, aka the New England English resident, TJ, has some expounding on that. Talk to him about your man TB12, please.
All right, y'all. So let me let y'all know that this is Tom Brady, former quarterback of the New England Patriots, 6-time Super Bowl champion, currently starting quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So what's going on right now is that Tom Brady recently got a PPP loan. And if you're not familiar with what a PPP loan is, it actually stands for a Paycheck Protection Program loan, which is a federal program that is released to small business owners. Tom Brady has his performance and nutrition center. So this is Tom Brady, who in this article, in this story, who just signed a two-year $50 million. No, let me correct that. 2-year, actually, yes, I'm right. 2-year, $50 million contract. However, he also has incentives for it to boost up to $60 million. So it's really 2 years, $60 million. And so he got $960,855 in PPP loans for his business. Now, granted, this just seems like white people just gonna do white people and just get their loans and business, and this is just what they do. So it's a lot of pocket watching. I don't think what he makes in his actual earnings has anything to do with what his business and for his employees and for payroll. This is something that he applied for as an owner, as many other people have applied for, and he got it. So I don't see that he did anything illegal. People are just kind of frowning upon it because, well, it's almost like, well, you have all this money and you can't pay your employees out of your pocket. To me, that's I think that's a moot point because there's nothing nefarious of what Tom Brady did, right? It's because I wouldn't put that same standard on another small business owner. If these are government programs that you can legally apply for and that you didn't commit fraud to get, then I think it's fair. I think it's fair game. Now, do I think that they should have other businesses get some of that money too? Yes, but it shouldn't be like, well, because you're Tom Brady and you play in the NFL and you run a business, then you should be discounted. It all should depend on the profit of the actual business, is what I think. So there's just a lot of pocket watching, right? And since this was something that he federally did in order to pay employees, he's not putting it in his own pocket. This is for him to pay employees. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just a person who, similar to what we were just saying, hey, the government stepping in, he's like, look, I want my piece of the pie so I can keep my businesses afloat. They need to be doing this for all of these businesses. But because he's Tom Brady, 6-time Super Bowl champion, and he's got money in the bank already, people feel some type of way. And I'm not one to pocket watch celebrities that not really out here trying to exploit people. So unlike Meek Mills and what he just did. But so I'm good with it. So let me ask y'all, what do y'all think? Should Tom Brady have been eligible to get over let's call it just a cool million, almost $1 million in PPP loans, or should he have been left to fend for himself?
He was paying his employees. If I was one of his employees, I'd be very happy. So, but how much did he give them? So,
Oh, it didn't say. It was just the article that I got pretty much read like, come on, pretty much what the kid did. Come on, man. Come on, Tom. You got $50 million, Tom. Come on, man.
Generally, with the PPP, what happens is the amount that you get approved for is based on payroll and expenses for the previous quarter or the previous 6 months, depending on when you're actually applying. So that number is not really an arbitrary number. It does come from something.
Well, yeah, he used it to pay his employees. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And it's not like he pocketed the money for himself. Like, he's giving it away.
Yeah.
Correct. Now, if they said Tom Brady filed paperwork like nefariously, or he filed paperwork illegally in order to obtain these loans, that's a different thing. But there are a part of the story is there is a part, the Los Angeles Lakers. Yes, the Los Angeles Lakers, they also were approved for a PPP loan as well, and they returned their PPP loan. It was like, now we're good. But that's different. They didn't say Jeannie Buss applied for the loan and Jeannie Buss was going to pocket it, and she said, "No, I'm good." The Lakers organization, and if I'm not mistaken, Tom Brady actually just started that business. So he's trying to make it stay afloat. And as long as it's going to his employees and not to his actual self, I'm good with it. I just think that there should be more funding, enough for everybody to be spread around, so we're not just looking at the celebrities thinking, "Oh, you got that, and so what do I got?"
For sure. And I mean, I know the NBA as a whole, I believe they just had to take out close to like a billion, almost under $1 billion, but they had to take out a lot of money via the government, via bonds and things of that nature to supplement the loss that they took, even with them being in a bubble. I know Mark Cuban said that he ended up taking $100 million loss when it was all said and done for last year. And Mark Cuban is actually one of the owners who continued to pay his employees when the pandemic was happening, because a lot of people, when they look at sports, they just look at it top heavy. They just look at the people who are on the payroll that are actually on the field. But Mark Cuban went out of his way to pay. We're talking about everyone who works in the arena. We're talking about everyone who's in the staff who didn't go to the bubble, and those numbers quadruple the amount of people that are actually playing on the full floor, on the field, depending on what sport it is. And those are the people that are affected the most. So even when I saw that the Lakers got approved for a PPP loan, I understood that, the loan is not for LeBron James. It's for, the young people that are working in the Staples Center. And that's how they pay their bills and things of that nature. So, it is an interesting thing. And it has been a conversation that has been going on ever since the PPP loan has been introduced. Now, that being said, I just wanted to sprinkle something that came across my desk a little bit earlier. So the IRS recently had to answer to Congress because Congress realized that they were auditing poorer people a lot more than they were auditing the rich. And so the rich were getting away with fraud at a much higher rate. And what was the IRS's answer to this? They simply said, honestly, they just don't have enough money to audit the richer people. And that's why they go after the people who earn less. I'm assuming this is because that they have less resources to fight back. And so now you're seeing people, and a lot of accounts, I know Bank of America is doing a big freeze. A lot of these people who got PPP loans, and a lot of people who are, to keep it frank, they were scamming the system when all of these came out, are going to be in big trouble. But the people who are notorious and are in that 1% for taking advantage of the government loopholes are way less likely to get in trouble, because according to the IRS, they don't have the funding to go after them. So that being said, Javonni, what is your take on how our government as a whole is moving in these situations, and what advice do you have for people who may be taking advantage of these government assistance, but not in the greatest of morale?
I blame the president. I think that Donald Trump kind of put it in people's mind to do whatever it takes to get to where you need to go, and whether that means lying, stealing, or cheating. His message has kind of much been, if it's not hurting anybody or if you're not getting caught, do it. I mean, just like when it was the presidential debate and they were talking about Joe Biden and President Trump were talking about Mexicans and what is it called?
Exploiting
ISIS, and where they would get caught by ISIS. And he was just like, listen, if you turn yourself in, your IQ has to be like pretty low. You know, like, so he pretty much just saying like, do you, unless the feds come after you, do you, and you pretty much an idiot if you kind of get caught right now in America. But I blame Donald Trump. I blame him for the rich people and the poor people. Of course, the poorer people, I guess, as IRS would describe it, I just kind of feel like everybody's just trying to make $1 out of 50 cents. But as far as the rich people, they do know that they are in a higher advantage to not be held accountable. I mean, that's with anything. That's breaking the law. That's
for sure.
Going to court, having a good lawyer. Pretty much most people will tell you if you have a good attorney, you're going to be able to get off. But if you don't have a good attorney, you're going to go to jail. So, I mean, we could say people getting over, but I feel like that's been going on for a long time.
For sure.
America was founded on capitalism.
For a long time, but people getting caught because they buying these Lamborghinis and paying cash for them, and it's just like that's not adding up.
For sure.
And then you can't be on social media doing crazy stuff. So yeah, if you was wilding out with your money, the eyes are watching you. But I think it's unfortunate that we even have to take this route in general because they didn't want to give us, they didn't want to give the people no type of money. So I feel like maybe if I increase the PPP loan, I mean not increase the PPP loan, but increase the stimulus check to whoever suggested $5,000, then people wouldn't be trying to scam for a $10,000 loan.
For sure. Question for Jesse: if you were given a $1 million loan for less untitled government funding, would you buy a purse for $88,000?
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Stuff like that. I feel like, but wait, let me just make this comment. I do think a lot of celebrities they have gotten these loans. Like they got them and they using the money on whatever it is that they want to use it on because who gonna check me? It's like who gonna check me, boo?
Right.
For sure.
Like even if Tom Brady added an extra, he said his business made an extra $50,000 more than they actually made, or extra $100,000 more than they actually made. Who finna go look into that? I'm not.
That's true.
Like,
That's true.
Somebody really finna go look into Tom Brady? I'm not.
They're gonna look into Wesley Snipes, though. I'll tell you that.
They're gonna look into Wesley Snipes, though.
Yeah, for sure. So Jesse, talk to us about this.
I feel like you're welcome to spend money. Okay. I feel like you're welcome to spend your money how you want to spend your money, right? That's number one. Would I personally spend $88,000 for a purse? No. However, I know a particular person who did do that. They didn't do that. They talked about doing that only because they said the value of the purse would go up as time went on. So it's more like an investment. However, I feel like if you're going to do something like that, don't broadcast it. Like, in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of families who are struggling, holiday season, like don't broadcast that. And like for me, and as a matter of fact, you want to tell everybody what we're talking about before I continue?
So yes, before I kick it back to our Cardi B correspondent here, our sweetheart from the Bronx.
All news latest, Cardi B. Yes, sir.
Our sweetheart from the Bronx, Cardi B, recently asked her Twitter followers if she should buy this bag for $88,000. I'm sure she was just in the crib drinking coquito, shooting this shit in her DMs, trying to figure out her next move because she couldn't leave the house, and she wanted to know if she can scratch this itch. She quickly realized that her demographic is a bunch of hungry wolves who have received $2 for the last year from our broke ass government, who are triggered by anything wealth related, and she's not exempt from that. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick it back to Jesse for the expound.
So yes, like I was saying, I feel like everybody is free to do what they want with their money. You work for your money. Like nobody can tell you what to do with your money. However, in this particular situation with Cardi, like you said, her audience, they're not mainly rich people. And if you were trying to cater to them, then send them a message or go talk to them about it. Don't put it on Twitter where like people are like struggling to pay their rent. People are struggling in general, and it's like you're asking people if you should spend $88,000 on her purse. Like, I just feel like she should have just kept that to herself. But at the same time, I feel like Cardi comes from a place where she had nothing, and now, you know, she has all this money, and she's proud of that. She's proud of that. And
TJ about to blow a casket.
She's proud of that, and you know she just wants to flaunt it, but it just comes off a little uneasy for people who don't have it and who are struggling. But
TJ about to blow a casket. Sips water.
We have done probably almost 80 episodes of the Soapboxx, and we've done multiple Cardi B stories. And Jesse, I don't know, Jesse, if anybody's ever told you, you should go to law school. You should go to law school because whenever Cardi B situations come up, you are her counselor. You are Cardi B, you are Cardi and Meg Thee Stallion attorney at law. Because
she kept it real.
You will justify anything or try to find some sort of way to smooth it over. She came from, Your Honor, she did the crime. However, she came from a broken home. She did not know. So please be lenient on this sentence for the court of public opinion.
You gotta humanize people, TJ. You gotta humanize them. She's a human. Cardi's a human.
Cardi B has the mindset of a stripper. And the strippers have different mindsets than regular folks. They are at their core hustlers. Their value systems are different. So her putting that on social media is really her. It's not even like the Meek Mills thing where she's trying to stunt. She really doesn't care. Like she really doesn't. Like she really didn't care enough to think about how it would land for other people. And not only that, when people gave her backlash for it, she came back with some like, oh, y'all stay mad, blah, 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 blah. And she's just, see, the difference between when Cardi B like started to rise to prominence in Nicki Minaj and why people went with Cardi instead of Nicki Minaj is because Cardi B had a dope ass personality. Like she was relatable. You see what I'm saying? Like people were like, oh, she's funny. She don't take herself seriously. Over the past couple years, that has definitely changed. Like she has now become the Nicki Minaj in the sense of like her head is just too into who she is in her celebrity status. It's another example of this whole forgetting about how dusty you used to be. You see what I'm saying? Like just like Meek Mills, like yo, Meek, you used to be dusty. Cardi used to be on the pole, so now you out here stunting on you out here stunting on people. $80,000 bet. You're right. If Cardi B sent this text message, she could have easily sent this text message to one of her friends. Easily sent it to one of her friends. She did it, and they do this stuff to basically showcase their wealth and to start, and it just didn't land. What I don't like is when you do stuff like that, why don't you just take the L? I don't get why people are so afraid of taking L's and just being like, you know what? I've hooked up. I said that. I shouldn't have posted it. My bad. Let me take the L and go with it. But she's got so many, and I'm not saying this is you, just say. I'm talking about because you're not a minion, right? You're not a Cardi B minion. You're her attorney. But some of these minions is like, why y'all stay mad at Cardi? Why y'all up in her business? But you posted on social media. Like, that's crazy to me. So I have Cardi B exhaustion in 2020. Like I'm just over her relationships, her breakups, her filing for divorce, her songs, her not nominating her songs. Like I'm just over, and I used to be somebody who was like, yo, I like Cardi B over thing because she was relatable, but she's just Cardi B's just lame to me now, and I don't like the fact that not only of like if you're a hustler, do your thing. I don't mind you, twerk, get your money. I don't mind that, but the other stuff of making it seem like you care about certain things, make it like you're a political pundit. You're getting like I don't like any of that other shit. Like just do your shtick, get your money. And that's it. Like that's all I care about. But like I don't like the charade. I don't like the charade that she portrays anymore.
I never want to have millions of dollars and still feel like I have to prove a point or like let people know that I have millions of dollars. Like
that's a hood rat mentality. Like this hood rat.
Yeah, I think
it's the same thing.
I do and then we'll wrap up here just because we got a couple other stuff. But I do think that as TJ said, I do think there's a point in celebrity where you are in between like being disconnected from where you were, but also still having those same personality traits, right? I don't think that Cardi B has changed at all. Well, I'm sure she's changed, but I'm saying that I don't think she's changed the core of who she is. And I think that it only backfires when it comes to putting numbers on things. So I think the same thing that works for her can work against her in a situation like this. But I don't think she means any harm. And we're not going to go into another Cardi B segment. We'll get into that another time.
Didn't Little Brother has a line in one of their songs that says money don't change you. It just makes you more of what you already are.
It just makes you more who you are. So it's like,
are you saying the same thing? If she would have been like, if y'all think I should buy this $75 wallet, is the same thing as saying y'all think I should buy this $88,000 purse? Like, same. Different amount.
I was gonna say though, like in the grand scheme of where she is financially, an $88,000 purse is a $75 wallet to her. You know what I'm saying? So it's not. So I do think that once you're getting so much money, you do lose the concept of money to the average person because their percentage of what $88,000 is to her is what a $75 wallet is to me. You know what I'm saying? Which is why it's easy to get clouded and think that these statements aren't as bad as they actually are, But moving on, speaking of another celebrity, we're gonna do one more celebrity thing before we get into some real shit to close off the pod. Our girl Tisha Campbell recently just exposed that she's been going through some things, and I'm not going to elaborate. We have a short video here, and then we're going to kick it back to Jesse to expound.
All right, bet. We're going to do the cook too, right?
Yeah, that's going to be the last thing that we do. So we're just going to run through this teacher thing real quick.
Your marriage when your marriage broke up, and you got nothing.
Nothing. No one knows that, but I had nothing. Nothing. In the bank, nothing. I had maybe $7 to my name, and I was scared. It was like I was starting all over.
Tisha did just that with the support of her two sons, 19-year-old Zen and 11-year-old Ezekiel.
The fact that I did raise children who didn't care about the big mansion that I had or that we had to start over or any of it. Oh, God, I'm not supposed to do this here. Starting over is not always the easiest thing, but it is a necessary thing. It is a beautiful devastation.
Will you be ready to date again?
No.
Why not?
Hell no.
No, come on.
I'm the happiest I've ever been. And I don't want a relationship, so don't ask me that no more.
Now, why you gotta ask her that?
Does that look like a person that's the happiest they've ever been?
Listen.
Wait. Hold on, TJ. I want you to play.
Okay. Look,
TJ. I want you to play the snippet of this hit single that she has right now. DJ TJ, I want you to play the snippet of this hit single that she has right now. Maybe not right now. Maybe it was a couple years ago, but I want her to sing to the people before we get into this.
I can't play it straight off of the chat.
Listen, we're gonna get this to the people.
Hold on. We're gonna get this to the people. Make me work. Just go ahead. I got it.
In the meantime, Jesse, what you think about this?
So yeah, I mean, to be fair,
Be fair. Talk to him.
Listen, she did leave the divorce with $7. Well, like you said, $7. But it didn't mention that when she got divorced with Dwayne, they were bankrupt. So they were like $14 million in bankruptcy. And so how are you really going to get money back if y'all are bankrupt? You're not going to be able to get any money back. Now, she also did claim that he was lying about a home that he had, and he borrowed a loan from Will Smith, like about $1 million, so that home can keep from being foreclosed. I don't know how accurate that is. I don't know if he does have a home, he doesn't have a home. But at the end of the day, if you're going through bankruptcy, you're not going to have any money. But it sucks because like you're in a relationship with somebody for 20 years, you guys both have promising careers, and then just to come out of that with nothing, yeah, that's kind of tough.
For sure. I mean, and you know, leaving a relationship, being in a relationship with financial difficulties is difficult. It's the number one reason for divorce. Getting out of a relationship, being bankrupt, I'm sure is a different type of stress, especially when you have to take care of two little ones. So, you know, I'm definitely glad that she's bounced back on her feet. Javonni, how would you navigate the end of a life partnership, literally starting from $0? What do you think would be your mindset going through something like that?
I'll be pissed. Like, that's ultimate try it. But did they say why they divorced?
I don't have the story about why they divorced. To my understanding,
usually, like, if you divorce and the wife don't get nothing, like, was there some infidelity involved? Because I know nothing. That didn't really make sense for her to get nothing. I never heard of that.
Well, I mean, it's you can't split nothing if you both don't have nothing. So,
I'm sure he didn't walk away with $7.
They were married, so I guess I believe like they were bankrupt as a couple. So it was really nothing to split.
Oh, right. Oh wait, so they weren't married?
They were married. They went bankrupt. They got a divorce.
And then they split.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a dumb question?
Can you play the single, DJ? Or no?
Yeah, I got the video. Yeah, I got the single. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to play the clip first?
No, go ahead. Ask your question first.
Okay. What? Tell me what the objective of that interview would be, right? Like
triumph, the human spirit, the will of a woman, a comeback story.
Right. From $7 to many dollars.
Period.
And play the single because that'll shed some light on some things too. We're just gonna give you a little taste, just a little taste.
Okay.
I'm still here. Oh, I'm still here. Oh.
I hope she saved that $7. Did she say? Did she put that $7 in a bond or something like that? I hope she saved that.
Listen, she may need to run up on Meek Mill with a couple bottles of water. You know what I'm saying they could bust that down.
She need to be. Yeah, you're right. She need to be out there hustling with some waters.
That's a number 7. You feel me? Because you know why? She's still here.
Where?
That's what the objective was.
Somebody may see her and want to wipe her up, give her a good life.
That's over with. House party was such a long time ago. Even my wife, even Martin and my wife and kids, that's over and done with. And she's like,
done with y'all. Why was both of y'all looking like? Come on.
Nah. She didn't get the Iron Man Larissa Pippen face. So she did it gracefully. No, her time is over. Her time. She was right when she is like, and she still imagine that you got $7 in your pocket and you talk about I don't need no man. Okay.
You don't need no man. You think just because you have $7 in your pocket, you need a man?
Yo,
talk to him.
keep it
Talk to
quiet,
him,
yo.
Jess.
She don't
Yo,
have
keep it
$7
quiet.
today though. That was then.
Yeah, that's the redemption story.
Oh, she might have doubled up.
Comeback player of the year. You feel me?
But listen, there's no
Marcus
reason.
Cousins.
Look, we gotta start taking some personal responsibility. There's no reason she should be in this situation when first of all, she was on 2 amazing sitcoms. My Wife and Kids and Martin, and I think what else was she on? Those are her two biggest shows.
Yeah,
and she's talented. So,
hey,
look, as someone that was homeless, right? Who slept outside of a 7-Eleven and still went to school and stuff like that. Like, I had to get to a point in my life, and Alan, I've been down. And Alan, we've all talked about that. I've had to get to my point. There's people that have screwed me over, pulled the rug under me, but I had to get to a point where I stopped blaming motherfuckers for my shit and get to a point where it's like, look, I'm gonna just, even though I'm here, right? I'm gonna make sure that I get myself into a situation where nobody can do that again. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you know what?
That's what I was saying. If I was out there, it was like, yo, Alan, instead of doing the soapbox and something that I love, right? What if I was like, yo, Alan, I need some backup singers for some. I'm still here.
But to be fair, what you suggested is exactly what she did. The reason why she said that she was not really interested in dating is because dating put her in that bad situation. So she learned from that and said she's not doing that again. And you know who don't care if you got a bunch of good shows? The IRS. Because actually they care a lot because that's residual income for them and their bankruptcy. They don't care. So
it's so aggravating. Like, do they just be following people? Like, come on.
Listen. If you got the sort of melatonin,
it's an IRS person for everybody.
On behalf of the soapbox, the IRS, they're okay with me.
Listen. Listen. But shout out to Tisha Campbell. She is somebody that we all grew up admiring, appreciating the talent. I think at the end of the day, we just really do have to have redemption stories like that sometimes. I think that's the point.
Were y'all inspired by that?
Huh?
What?
Were y'all? Maybe is that the Grinch in me? I was not. Were y'all inspired by?
You're not a woman, TJ. You're not supposed to. You're not the target demographic of this.
I respect it because it's like you could be in a low place and stay there, but she didn't do that. So like I respect anybody who comes from nothing to something, like my girl Cardi B.
Yeah.
Oh, so everybody got to make a song when they come from nothing. All right, next time I'm debuting my song. I'm debuting my song next in 2 weeks. I'm debuting a song. My struggle.
So all right. So before we get out of here, man. Before we get out of here, and speaking of the strength of women, I wanted to leave out of here with actually a feel-good story. We had a young brother who is, I guess, quote unquote, breaking societal norms. Before I deep dive into it, I do want to play the video. If we can cue that up for the people real quick. The audio will be enough. If you're just listening on your audio services, you can get the gist. But if you can get the YouTube, it'll spice it up a little bit. So let's take a look.
Hey, my name is Keith. I'm gonna answer this comment, but I'm gonna show you what I'm cooking first. So tonight we made a cheese stuffed pasta with a spicy meat sauce, topped with shaved Parmesan cheese. And let me say, it was fire. I was proud of myself. But not at this comment. While I'm cooking, she's watching this one. But even though the tone of your comment was disrespectful, I didn't take any disrespect by it. You see a teachable moment where I can drop some knowledge on you. By the way, I'm making hot chocolate. You just take these little hot chocolate sticks and you stir it in the hot milk and it turns into hot chocolate. It's fire. But back to what I was saying. If you don't know any full-time moms or you haven't been around one, you don't understand how hard of a job it is. It's harder than 80% of any job available on the market. By the way, I paired that hot chocolate with some cookies. But yeah, it's harder than any job that you can think of. And I appreciate my wife for going through that. So I feel like it's only right to make her dinner and some dessert. That's the least I can do. I couldn't imagine being a full-time mom. So I let her know every day that I'm thankful for her. And you should do the same for any woman in your life. God bless you.
the question that he was asked on his TikTok was, why isn't your wife cooking? And that was his response to that. And I thought it was cool. And I thought, especially with us having two wonderful mothers here on our platform, we actually have someone who is sitting on a little something right now. I just wanted to ask both of you, in whatever order you desire to answer, what things can men do during pregnancy and immediately after pregnancy to alleviate some of the pressure that you guys are feeling?
Well,
Shut up and listen.
Go ahead. You want to go first? You go first.
That's it. 1 and 2.
Say it again.
And listen.
Shut your ass up.
Go ahead, Jess. Go ahead.
Well, me personally, speaking for someone who is currently pregnant, I feel like during.
Oh, did we lose you?
Oh, we got a freezer. We got the freezer. Frickin' new freezer.
Hold on. I remember. Add it back.
Oh.
You back?
Oh, I don't know what just happened. That was so weird. Somebody told me to shut up.
What?
No,
She's still here. She's still
here. Yeah, no, just because when women are pregnant, they go through a lot, right? They go through emotional changes and they go through physical changes. So if you're in a position with somebody where you guys are living together or whatever the case may be, you should be mindful of that. You should be mindful that they're going through their own stuff, especially like hormones. That's a crazy thing. So just be supportive. If they have a craving, go get it. Get your ass up. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Just go grab it. It's not that deep. If they're craving, something weird, just get it for them, and then just be there for them emotionally. And then after, like when they give birth, there's women. For example, I had a C-section. With C-sections, it's extremely hard recovery. You can't really do anything. You can't even carry anything. It's really hard. So if you're in a position like that, just again, be supportive, help around the house. It's the little things that count. Cook dinner, clean, like little stuff like that. And like Javonni said, just shut up. Just shut up. If I'm talking shit, just let me talk shit. Like I'm hormonal, not you. Like relax and shut up. That's it.
Okay. Well, I do have to ask though, as far as the whole shut up, what is the timetable post birth that we're not supposed to give no lip back? Like, give some brothers out there some hints, because I feel like y'all may be trying to stretch it. Baby be 5 in kindergarten. Y'all talking about shut up and listen. No, we're gonna have a conversation now.
I'll say shut up and listen with the pregnancy, but something that postpartum, that's a thing, right?
For sure.
Like that's a very serious thing that a lot of people don't take serious. So if your woman is going through that, just shut up. Just be supportive.
Yeah,
for real. And just don't say anything that's gonna trigger her, because, like I said, postpartum is real.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
let me say this. I feel like the fact that I even have to explain this, like,
she's getting triggered.
To the core.
There we go.
Because one thing, Black woman, when you find one that's not just like a like just a needy person, or a woman that's not just trying to take everything from you, but when you find one that is like she gonna do for herself regardless. When that woman has a child and you see her still like trying to do for herself regardless, even though it's a man in the house that can support her, you have to be man enough to tell her, like, sit down, I got it. Like, don't be like, well, I thought you had it, so that's why I ain't make the bottle. It's just like, yeah, I do got it, but take the initiative to go ahead and do it for me. We got to really get out of this whole role of where Black women are just supposed to be strong all the time. Like, we can get a whole C-section and the black, the man will say, well, the doctor said it was gonna take 4 days to heal. You not better yet, stuff like that. And it's just like, stop trying to make me so strong. If I want to be soft because I just got a C-section, or if I want to cry for a whole week straight because I'm a woman and my hormones are all over the place, let me do that. Don't be questioning, well, what's wrong and why you crying? It's just like, don't do that. Don't force us to be strong because you're weak in those areas. Because women, to be honest, we're strong in all the categories. We work, we can have children, we have these surgeries. When y'all go to jail, they talking about hold us down and die for me, whatever.
Why we gotta go to jail?
We do all of that. And then here we go. The one time we just need y'all to shut up and listen. Y'all still acting like we supposed to still be this superwoman. And I really think that strong women need a man that's strong enough and bold enough to say, I got it. And I got it not because I don't want you to get on me, but I got it because I'm a man and I can, do something for you. Just like how women cook and clean every single day. It's just like, what can you do as a man every single day for a woman?
And so I have a question about that as well. How do you feel communication should go between a couple? Because I do think that a lot of times women, especially Black women, the instinct is to do, right? Even if they don't want to. So do you think that there has to also be some sort of force of communication for the woman to say, you know what? I don't want to do this, right? Even though the natural instinct is to do it. How do you feel about, I understand that's very tough. And a lot of times I do feel like that being verbalized may wake some men up because they are used to dealing with that woman on a day-to-day basis, and her first instinct is to do, right? And a lot of times as well, there may be some pushback from the woman saying that, I don't want you to baby me. I don't want you to do XYZ. So as women, what do you think your role is in expressing what you guys actually need? And then as men, of course, we understand that we have to listen now. But how do you guys think that those conversations should go to where it's extremely transparent that you do not want to do XYZ and you shouldn't, because this is your time to recover from motherhood?
It probably should go like that. It probably should go based off of what you just said, because some things you just probably do have to say directly. And I know that I struggle with like getting that extra help, just because I just, even whatever help from my mom or whoever else, I just always was like thinking, if I do it, it's gonna get done the way that I want it to get done. But that gets old. And I think and then you start taking out women, we start taking our anger out on the man for not doing it. And it's like, you never even told him that was something you wanted to get done. So how are you mad about it? So I'm learning to also just be more vocal and literally say probably what you just said. Like, I can't do that because I'm tired, and not feel bad about it.
Agree. Jesse, how do you think that, same question for you?
Yeah, I totally agree. Just to verbalize it, I think it's important, because at the end of the day, guys can't read our minds, and y'all are a little slow sometimes. But I know that was for you, TJ.
Alan hasn't asked me my opinion on the video, so I'm gonna let y'all have this spotlight. This be talking about pregnant women, what women want. Don't throw shots at me.
But in all seriousness, I also feel like, yes, like verbalize what you want if you're not getting it. But on the other side, it's like, you should know. Like, you should know if I'm in bed and I'm in pain and I was up all night with the baby, like, you should know. Like, that's common sense. Like, you're a grown woman. And I just feel like certain things shouldn't have to be verbalized, but I get why sometimes it does.
Understood.
Just stop thinking that we just so strong. Like, that's over with. That's slavery.
It's not. Well, I think that I think a lot of times it goes beyond assumption and just action. Anytime that you are seeing a woman, especially on a day-to-day basis, be this person, that's who you are accustomed to being with, right? And then so if there's going to be a break from that, then a conversation should be had. And because a lot of times we feel like we don't want to purposely take that away from you if that's where you feel that you are your strongest or your apex, or a lot of women feel empowered doing for self, and they take offense to some men doing things for them. So I do think that there is a line, and this isn't necessarily about taking care of a child, even though it can bleed into that. It's a line that I feel like a lot of men try to tiptoe, and which essentially makes them less assertive than they should be in a situation like, taking care of a child. So I definitely, ladies, I appreciate your input on that. TJ, are you making the spaghettis with the sour cream and the hot chocolate sticks? Tell me what you thought about that video. From all angles. And what the lady said. What is your response as a man? How did you take it?
Listen, I'm not even gonna lie. When I first watched the video, I was like, damn, I didn't know they make chocolate sticks at first. Like I was the first one. I was like, oh, that's the new snacks. But that just
work coming out.
But as far as women and being pregnant, to me, I've always said this. I think I've said this countless times. To me, the ultimate level of success to me is being a father. And being a loyal husband. So that's something I take extremely seriously. Everything that brother did was on point. To me, I'm gonna be one of those like hoverers. Like I am very much old school traditionalist when it comes to provide, protect, and making sure like y'all see if whenever I get someone pregnant, I will be like not a wreck, but just be there. She'll probably tell me, I'll be the guy she tells, just give me some space. I got it. You need to go ahead and lead. Go see Alan. Go do something with yourself because I'm gonna be like, I don't want you to have to do nothing. I just want you to just be a hen and just sit there. And I got everything else because this is something that I'm one of those guys that I want to be a father. Like I am like that's something that's important to me. Like that's not something I take lightly. So whenever that does happen, that is priority number one over the soapbox, over politics, over everything else. So because that's something I know that I will not fail at. So
but
anything my lady needs, huh?
Can you be a father and still be the person in the relationship?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. And I think, but the thing is that comes with me, who I am now. Like I'm doing the work now. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm not waiting I'm taking care of the trauma and dealing with who I am and understanding who, I'm on the potter's wheel and molding myself who I am now as a man and trying to set myself up financially to do those things now. And I'm not too far away. So whenever I do have that opportunity, that does come, like my goal is I've said this in the show where I don't want my family to want for nothing. So I want to give her the option from 0 to 5. Like she can work, but I always want to give her that option that, hey, he's stable enough that I don't necessarily have to work. You see what I'm saying? So I've that's always been a goal of mine. That's because I want to teach my kid certain fundamentals at home. And like I am the Friday night like family time guy. Like whoever my partner is has to be okay with that. Like family has to be number one. Our family, not necessarily our extended family, but what we got and what we're building. So everything that brother, salute to that brother. I was not even gonna make a joke about it. Salute to that brother and what he's doing, and I hope that he has a healthy birth and healthy pregnancy. As Jess, this is a great segue as we go live in February for Jess's live episode as she's giving birth on the Soapboxx podcast. We will be in there with surgical masks, and we will be live.
Yeah, we doing Zoom. We doing Zoom, burps.
As we go from StreamYard or
I would
Zoom.
not be picking up that call.
Mid push, we will want to know exactly how Jesse is feeling, and just do the play by play. So we're looking forward to that episode.
Yeah, we definitely doing that thing. Before we get to the more of the story though, you did bring up something, TJ, that I wanted to touch on, because you said that you brought up the word traditionalist, which I thought was interesting, because I thought that everything in that video was kind of anti-tradition in a sense. I don't think that that's something that I don't think that level of split home responsibility is something that we have necessarily been brought up. So which is something that I loved about the video. I don't think it's traditional at all. I think it's going to be the new tradition. I think it's going to be up to us and our generation to kind of make that the new norm. How do you feel about that?
Well, that's because a lot of guys think that, and I have to be honest, that's how I used to think back in the day too. But there's an archaic way that we view submission, right? And submission, submission does not have to be just when it comes to from a male's perspective. Like, in order for you to be, like, people say, oh, you got to submit to your man, or do submission. You are submitting. When you submit to someone, you're not submitting to someone because you can't. You're submitting to someone because you know you can, and you trust them enough that you are allowing them to lead you in a house. You know what I'm saying? In a household. And I'm one of those people that, it's God first. I always believe that the woman makes the home. Like, she's the nurturer. She makes the home. She's basically, dad handles the felonies, mom handles the misdemeanors, all that stuff. But really, she's running shit. You see what I'm saying? But not to the point where she's losing herself. And I think that from a generational point of view, that is where we can kind of turn the table, because a lot of times we get the women that are in the marriages that are like, well, I did everything for my kids, I did everything for my husband, everybody's grown now I want to have fun. And then she starts doing, like, people have these midlife crises. No, I think ultimately, from what I've learned, is any relationship is a partnership, right? And so if you can't be like, I'm more about loyalty and that partnership rather than romanticizing a relationship and being like, oh my goodness, I want to be in love. And that's probably why I'm not in a relationship now, because when you're out there in the dating world, it's everybody's a property appraiser, right? So everybody's trying to appraise what your value is up front. And everybody's trying to, has this romanticized idea of what they actually want. And if you're looking for a partnership, and I can't be with someone who wants to go out every single weekend and all the time. Like, I can't be with somebody like that. Like, not saying that that's wrong, but that's not my partner. That's not somebody I'm going to be equally yoked with. Like, we can travel together, but I'm someone who knows that, hey, you go out into the world, you work, you do your stuff, but family is the most important thing, right? That's why I try to be as close as I can with my sister and my nieces and my nephew, because family is that's important. That's important to me. Affection, communication, like, those are things that are important. And as time goes on, we keep, in social media, we keep pulling further and further away from, like, actual family values, and not having to be on social media and stunting for people and acting as if, like, I want someone who's going to be just as comfortable being at home, and the attention that you're getting from myself is good enough, and vice versa. So that's why holding someone else's hand in the mall, who, like, that's, to me, that's why. You see what I'm saying?
Thank you, TJ. We do appreciate that. Because I already know we was gonna go with that other topic, and we're gonna say that for next week.
I was trying to do that.
Listen, we're gonna see y'all next week, but we're gonna have the more of the story, man. First and foremost, I appreciate y'all listening, all of the Soapboxx Nation. I appreciate all of my co-hosts for letting me run amok. So as of right now, just so we can just we're gonna go counterclockwise. TJ, start us off with the moral of the story.
Hey, I appreciate Alan. Hey, shout out to you. Everybody give Alan a round of applause. I appreciate you and what you did today. My moral of the story is make sure you're taking care of your mental health over this holiday season. And to me, I like the fact that we talked about family. Family is extremely important to me. This is my extended family, the Soapboxx here. And so definitely if not sure if this is our last broadcast for the season, but want to wish everybody a happy holidays, making sure that they're safe and they're healthy. And yeah, tell the ones that you care about that you love them. And so I love each and every one of you guys. Oh, I'm allergic to that cat. I love you guys. And yeah, so this was a good show. I appreciate y'all.
Peace. Thank you so much, TJ. Jesse and your feline. What's your moral?
She's like a Bond villain.
Yeah, I just sneezed.
My moral of the story is be supportive of your person. You know, be there for them physically, emotionally, and know that it's not just about you. Period.
For sure. And Javonni, what is going to be your moral of the story for today?
My moral of the story for today is self-love and love yourself enough to know how to create boundaries. I'm working on like this small little ebook that I'll be coming out with pretty soon. So I want you guys to stay tuned and join the topic of conversation whenever that drops.
For sure. Listen, we can't wait to check out the ebook. Hopefully we can have a whole episode dedicated to that. We can pick your brain in regards to that. And as for me, my name is Alan York. Please, when you guys get a chance, do follow the Soapboxx Nation 2X's on all of your media platforms. Soapboxx 2X's podcast. We love to hear from you guys. 2 X's, double X, because 3 X's is going to get everybody in trouble.
2021.
My name is Ali York. My moral of the story is please cherish your loved ones. Figure out what it is that you would like to do. I'm gonna leave you all with a quote that I was reading today. It said that with nature, there is no victory, there is no defeat, it's just motion. So at the end of the day, everything that you're going through, it'll be a cycle. It'll have its peaks and valleys, but just get ready for the next one. Soapboxx, peace and love. Thank you to my co-host once again. We will see y'all soon. And holla at the Guala for $1 or 20 if you need. You know what I mean?
Peace.